This is Middle East Brief with Avi Kaner, your daily intelligence update on what actually matters.
To understand this conflict, don't just watch the battlefield, watch X, because that's where leaders are signaling, in real time, publicly, but not always clearly. Every post has an audience, domestic, international, and adversaries, and each one hears something very different. Start with the United States. Here the messaging is not unified. Official channels tend to be calibrated, measured, deliberate. But political figures don't always follow that script. Take President Donald Trump. His messaging is different. It's more direct, more aggressive. It's less constrained by diplomacy. That creates two parallel signals, one from the state and one from the political arena, sometimes aligned, sometimes not. And it's not just in one direction. Trump's political opponents respond just as publicly, often in harsh terms, criticizing strategy, questioning decisions, undermining credibility. Domestically, that's political debate, but externally, it reads differently. Adversaries don't separate politics from policy. They see division, they test it, they use it. They calculate risk and resolve. There's one other shift worth noticing. In past wars, the United States tended to project unity at the start of conflict. Not perfectly, but visibly. Across parties, across institutions. It didn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican, you were united. At least externally. That created a clear external signal. Now that signal is different. Division shows up immediately, driven by politics, amplified by platforms like X. The debate happens in public, in real time, at scale. And that has value domestically, but externally, it changes how the signal is read. Adversaries do not see healthy debate. They see fragmentation. They ask, is this temporary or structural? Because unity deters, division invites testing, pushing boundaries, looking for gaps. Now, look at the Iranian regime. At first glance, you might think the audience is internal, but it's not, because most of the country can't even see the message. Nearly 90 million Iranians have been cut off from the global internet. Communication is restricted, information is controlled. So the primary audience is external. The United States, the Gulf states, Europe, the rest of the world. The messaging is designed to project something very specific. Endurance, strength, stability, even under pressure. Because perception matters. If the regime looks stable, it buys time. If it looks fragile, it invites pressure. But there's another layer, the Iranian diaspora. They still have access, they still have platforms, and they still have some communication with people on the ground in Iran. So they become a secondary channel, amplifying dissent, sharing information, shaping narratives outside the country, which is why the regime tries to silence them too. Because in an information war, control inside the country is not enough. You also have to manage the story outside it. Now look at Israel. Like the United States, it's a democracy, which means its messaging serves multiple audiences at once, domestic, international, and adversaries. Internally, there is political division. Support for the current government is certainly not universal. But on the core issue, the threat from the Iranian regime, there is broad alignment, and that matters because it creates a different kind of signal. The debate exists, but the objective is clearer. Externally, Israel's messaging is direct. It's operational, often intentionally incomplete. Enough detail to signal capability, enough ambiguity to preserve flexibility. It signals readiness, resolve, and willingness to act. At the same time, it communicates to allies explaining actions, justifying strategy, maintaining support. So Israel's signaling operates on multiple levels: political, military, and strategic. But the key difference is this: despite internal debate, the external signal on the core threat is more consistent. And consistency is a form of strength. So what does all this mean? It means that X is not noise, it's a signaling system. But you have to read it correctly: what is said, what is not said, and what changes over time. Because shifts matter more than statements. A softer tone, a delayed response, a missing threat. Those are signals. And sometimes the absence of escalation is the message. Here's the key insight. Most of this communication is not about persuasion. It's about positioning, setting expectations, creating space, avoiding miscalculation, or sometimes inviting it. So when you scroll X, don't just read the words. Ask, who is this for? What are they trying to signal? And what are they trying to avoid? Because in modern conflict, narratives don't just reflect reality, they help shape it. And one final point: unity is not just strength, it's a signal.
This is Middle East Brief with Avi Kaner. If you want clarity, not noise, follow and share. Continue the conversation on X at Avi Kaner. Back tomorrow.